If you could shrink yourself down to the size of a molecule and step inside a living cell, you wouldn't find chaos, you'd find order. Beneath the surface of every cell lies a complex, organized web of microscopic fibers, highways, and bridges called the cytoskeleton. Far from being a static frame, the cytoskeleton is alive with motion. It stretches, contracts, and builds itself thousands of times per second. It's the infrastructure that gives cells their shape, their strength, and their ability to move. It's also the logistics network that ensures every vesicle, every organelle, and then every chromosome reaches its correct destination. In this episode, we'll explore the three major components of this dynamic system: microtubules, actin filaments, and intermediate filaments, and see how they come together to create one of biology's most elegant engineering marvels. At its core, the cytoskeleton is a network of protein filaments that extends throughout the cytoplasm of every eukaryotic cell. You can think of it as a cell's combination of bones, muscles, and highways all in one. It's composed of three main structural elements. Number one, microtubules, the long hollow tubes that serve as transport highways. Number two, actin filaments, the thin flexible fibers that drive motion and shape changes. Number three, intermediate filaments, the strong rope-like fibers that provide stability and strength. But what makes this system extraordinary is its constant remodeling. Cytoskeletal filaments are not fixed like the beams of a building. They're assembled and disassembled in real time, responding to the cell's needs. When a white blood cell chases a bacterium or when a neuron extends a new connection, the cytoskeleton arranges its network instantly, guiding shape, movement, and internal organization. This dynamic adaptability is what allows a single fertilized egg to eventually become the trillion cell structure of a human body, all because of the cell's ability to shape itself, divide, and migrate with precision. The first major filament type, the microtubules, act as the highways of the cell. They're long, rigid tubes made of tubulin dimers, pairs of A tubulin and B tubulin that assemble end to end to form a hollow cylinder. Microtubules radiate outward from a central hub called the centrosome, near the nucleus. From there, they extend to the cell's periphery, creating tracks along which molecular vehicles travel. Two key motor proteins, kinesin and dynein, power this transport system. Kinesin walks toward the cell's outer edge, carrying vesicles filled with materials like neurotransmitters or membrane proteins. Dynein walks in the opposite direction, toward the nucleus, transporting cargo that needs to be recycled or processed. Each step requires ATP, and each protein moves with mechanical precision, one of nature's smallest engines. But microtubules don't just transport cargo, they also organize cell division. During mitosis, they form the mitotic spindle, a complex apparatus that captures and separates chromosomes so that each daughter cell inherits an exact copy of DNA. This dual role, structural and logistical, makes microtubules essential for both order and motion inside of the cell. If microtubules are highways, then actin filaments are the muscles of the cell, made of G-actin monomers that assemble into F-actin filaments. These fibers form a dense, flexible mesh just beneath the cell membrane. Actin provides mechanical support and also drives movement, division, and contraction. In migrating cells, actin filaments polymerize at the leading edge, pushing the membrane forward in a crawling motion. In dividing cells, they form a contractile ring that pinches the cell in two. And in muscle tissue, actin pairs with myosin motor proteins, molecular machines that convert chemical energy into force to produce contraction. Every twitch of a muscle, every heartbeat, every cellular shape change traces back to actin dynamics. The balance between polymerization and depolymerization is what gives cells their ability to flex and adapt. Actin isn't just about movement, it's about sensitivity. It responds to signals from the environment, helping the cell sense mechanical stress or chemical gradients and translating those cues into changes in behavior. In other words, actin is how a cell feels and reacts to its surroundings. Now that we've covered movement and transport, let's look at strength and stability. That's the role of intermediate filaments, the unsung heroes of cellular architecture. These are rope-like fibers thicker than actin but thinner than microtubules. Unlike the other two, intermediate filaments are made of a diverse family of proteins that vary depending on the cell type. For example, keratin forms the tough outer layer of skin and hair. Thymidine strengthens the connective tissue. Neurofilaments stabilize the long axons of neurons. Their job is to resist mechanical stress. When cells stretch, compress, or bend, intermediate filaments absorb that force, preventing rupture. They also anchor organelles in place, ensuring the nucleus and other structures remain correctly positioned even as a cell changes shape. Imagine them as the shock absorbers of the cell, distributing tension evenly across its structure. Without them, tissues like muscle and skin would tear under strain, and neurons cannot maintain their long, delicate shapes. Now let's see the cytoskeleton in motion, a coordinated dance of precision and power. Inside every living cell, motor proteins walk along microtubules like trucks on highways, towing vesicles filled with enzymes, hormones, or signaling molecules. Actin filaments at the edge of the cell extend and retract, pulling the cell forward or reshaping it in response to stimuli. Intermediate filaments flex slightly, absorbing the mechanical energy that these movements produce. The cell's cells organize, transport, and adapt. The cytoskeleton ensures that mitochondria are delivered where energy is needed most. It guides chromosomes to opposite poles during division. It enables immune cells to chase pathogens or neurons to extend axons to precise targets. But there's also a medical side to this story. Drugs like Taxol and colchicine is used in cancer therapy, specifically target microtubules. By freezing or destabilizing these filaments, they prevent cancer cells from dividing. It's a perfect example of how understanding the cell's integral highways give medicine the power to intervene at this molecular level. The cytoskeleton, then, is not just biology, it's bioengineering in motion. When we step back and look at the entire cytoskeleton, the elegance of its design becomes clear. Microtubules act as organized highways, transporting cargo with precision. Actin filaments serve as the movers, constantly reshaping the cell and driving motion. Intermediate filaments stand as the stabilizers, providing resilience and integrity. Together, they form a seamless, integrated system, structure meeting function in a perfect harmony. The cytoskeleton is not just a framework, it's responsive architecture alive with energy and a purpose. This invisible scaffolding holds every heartbeat, every thought, and every breath. Without it, cells would collapse, life would lose structure, and motion would cease. But with it, biology achieves something close to art, a balance between order and dynamism that defines living systems. So the next time you move your hand or your heart beats, remember the same principles of tension, transport, and resilience are playing out in a miniature inside every cell of your body. That's the cytoskeleton, life's living infrastructure.